Hi class, this is Mr. Rink. We're going to be talking about the quiz that you just took. These are the answers to quiz number 1. We're going to go through these. If I'm not in front of you in class, then we need to pause the video between questions so that you could grade it appropriately. Please do not write anything until you are asked to do so on the video, because I'll tell you how to grade it. Alright? Here we go. Alright, so here we go. Number 1. Let's go. Sorry about that. Number 1, we have -3 plus 2 times the quantity of 1 minus 7b equals 97. So this is how you should have done it. You could watch the person in front of you, the paper you might be grading, or your own paper. This is how it's supposed to be done. We got -3 plus 2 times 1. So I'm going to distribute this 2 first. We got 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times -7b is -14b. Bring down the rest of the problem. Then I could combine like terms. I got -3 and positive 2 becomes -1 minus 14b is equal to 97. Then I want to add 1 to both sides because I want to undo everything. The idea is doing backwards orders of operations. So the 1's cancel out, so I got -14b is equal to 98. Divide both sides by -14, so I could isolate the variable, so b is equal to -7, and I box my answer. So, continuing here, it says, what does your answer number 1 mean? What I would put is the following. This means that the only solution to the equation is -7. So the words I'm looking for is, this means that the only solution and -7. So I'm trying to see those words. So what I would suggest you do, look for that. So this is how I'm going to grade this section. Right here, look for the first part, v equals -7. Please put +1 if they did it correctly. If they didn't, leave it alone. And then over here on the bottom left, also put +1 if they put only solution -7. Okay? I know it says to graph, so don't worry about graphing on this one. I didn't provide you a graph, but if you did graph it, you just go to -7 and plot your point. Okay? So that's number 1. We should pause the video here so that students could write this down or grade their papers. Okay? Now we're going to move on. Number 2. Sorry about that. Number 2 is already starting, but same idea. I need to distribute this 5 into this term right here, so I got a 5 right here, right? So we're going to distribute this, so you should get -25n minus 20 minus 6 is greater than or equal to -151. I could combine like terms, the -20 minus 6 right here, that becomes -26. I'm bringing down the rest of the problem. And then I'm going to add 26 to both sides. I'm trying to isolate the variable n here. So I got -25n is greater than or equal to -125. Okay? I think it's a little tricky there, huh? I know I'm going in the right direction now because I see multiples of 25. Now this one, be very careful. When we divide by -25, we need to make sure that if we divide by any negative number, that we take this sign here and we have to flip it. So watch what happens here. I'm going to rewrite it. You see? So instead of greater than or equal to, it is now less than or equal to. So we got n is less than or equal to 5. Okay? So what does that mean? What does the answer number 2 mean? So number 1 was a specific solution. This one means that it is a range of solutions. Oh, I went too quickly here. Alright? And so what are we looking for? On number 2, we want to give them a point for doing that correctly. We want to give them a point for the graph at the top. So notice how it's at 5 and it's less than, so it's filled in or equal to, and it's pointing to the left. And then we also want to give them a point for the answer. So this one was worth 3 points. Okay? So pause the video here as for the students. Take a moment to make sure you grade this correctly. Number 3. Number 3, directions for 3 and 4. Evaluate each function. So we want to, when we say evaluate, it's like we're plugging in numbers to the math machine. So we have this function here, g of t, and instead of plugging in t, I want to plug in this ingredient, -2. What happens if I plug in this ingredient to this math machine? So wherever I see a t now, I'm plugging in not t, but -2. So we're going to start with that. And then I'm just going to do PEMDAS because we're evaluating. We're not solving, we're evaluating, which means what's the answer? What happens when I put it all together? So you got -2 squared. It's like -2 times -2 is +4. -4 times -2 is +8. So when you add them together, you get 12. So our answer should be, when we have g of -2, it's equal to 12. Okay, so that's the best answer. If they put 12 by itself, that's okay. But you know, I'm looking for this tomorrow, so make sure that you have this. Okay. All right, let's pause the video here. Students, make sure you mark this off with 1 point if they did it correctly. If they didn't do it correctly, leave it alone. Show them where they made a mistake. Okay, here we go. Number 4. Number 4, same idea. We have f of x is equal to 4/3 x minus 4/5. Find f of 7/5. So again, it's like a math machine. We want to make sure we input the new ingredient of 7/5 whenever we see x. So I'm going to rewrite this as 4/3 times 7/5 minus 4/5. So did you notice that I just inputted this value for x? Next thing I'm going to do is start multiplying. So when I multiply fractions, I'm doing PEMDAS, right? Multiplying these fractions, 4/3 times 7/5. I have to multiply numerator times numerator, and then denominator times denominator. So I got 4 times 7 is 28. 3 times 5 is 15. And then we're going to subtract, and we're going to get 4/5 here. Okay, so we got this new fraction. Now look at my denominators. I have to subtract, so I need the same denominator. Unfortunately, I don't have the same denominator, but these are I noticed that 15 has multiples of 5 in it, so I can't break down 28. I can't divide it by 3, so I can multiply the second one times 3. So I'm going to take 28 over 15, bring it down, and then I'm going to change the second fraction so that it has 15 at the bottom. So I did that for you here. The idea is 5 times what is 15? 3, right? So 3 times what, or 4 times 3 is what? 12, right? So we're going to leave that there. Now we could subtract the numerators. 28 minus 12 is 16 over 15. So that's an improper fraction. You can leave it like that, or I'll take 1 and 1/15. So f of 7/5 is going to be this value. So I'm looking for this final answer. It should have either of these both answers. Remember, we want to have the f of 7/5. If not, that's okay today, but make sure they have something like that. But tomorrow, that is what I'm looking for. Give them 1 point. Okay, students should pause here. Oh, sorry. Students should pause here to grade the work. We should pause the video here. Alright, students, here we go. Number 5. Number 5. So this is a problem I've done before on your this is a problem we've done before on your particular lesson. So here we go. Number 5 and 6. Simplify, which means we just want to break things down and simplify them. So I'm going to focus on this numerator. I got this first exponent of 3. I'm going to distribute into each of these. So we got 2 to the third is 8. X to the third raised to the third. We are multiplying, so we got x to the 9th. Then you got y to the third raised to the third is y to the 9th. Times, and then we're doing the same thing here, x to the -6th. Bring down the rest of the problem. Okay? Remember, we don't like these negative exponents, so we have negative exponents here and here. I'm just going to put these at the top and these other one, this x to the 6th on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to write this down. X to the 9th, y to the 9th times, and I'm flipping these around. Notice how the denominator is down in the numerator, and this x to the -6 is down in the denominator. I could simplify this now. I noticed that the denominator and numerator, we have x to the 6th, x to the 9th. I'm going to take out x to the 6th and x to the 9th. I'm going to take out 6 from the bottom, leaving 3 on the top, and then I'm just going to start multiplying things out. So the denominator has 1. We got x to the 3rd times x squared is x to the 5th. Y to the 9th times y squared is y to the 11th. The denominator is 1, so we can just leave that alone. So there's only one answer here. It's only worth 1 point on this one. So give them +1 if they got it. It's either right or wrong. If they have part of it, like for, let's say you had an 8 and then in the y, then that's okay. I'll give you half a point. Or if you only had 8 and x to the 5th, or if you had 2 parts, that's okay. But for today, it's either right or wrong, okay? So please mark it off if it's wrong. Students, you should grade this now. We should pause the videos for students to grade. Okay, you should have graded this one. Now let's go to number 6 now. Okay, number 6, same idea. Notice that I crossed out, I'm going to cross m to the 0. That's going to be automatically, it's going to be 1. And I know 2 times 1 is still 2. So I could just ignore this and just focus on the 2. So now I'm going to focus on the 2. We got 2 to the, that becomes 1. Got 2 to the negative third. Let's just rewrite that as 2 to the negative third. Don't worry about calculating it all the time. They got n to the negative second raised to the negative third is going to be n to the positive 6th. The denominator, same idea. We're going to distribute that negative 3 down there, and it's going to be n to the 12th. Now, you see how there's a common term right here and here? So what I'm going to do is cross out this term here, and also cross out the bottom term. They're the same, which leaves it at 1, which makes it super nice. Then we got n to the 6th at the numerator. That's smaller than n to the 12th, so we want to cross n to the 6th out, leaving just 1. And then n to the 12th, I'm going to take out 6 from there. So we got 1 over n to the 6th. Okay? This one we did in class. Give them a point if they did it correct. Everyone should pause the video here. Alright, everyone should have corrected, and we're going to move on to number 7. Number 7 says directions for 7 through 10, simplified expression. So this one we have a square root of 48 n to the 3rd. I suggest you, I'm sorry, where are we at here? I suggest you rewrite 48 on the side as a factor tree. So I know that 48 is 3 times 16. I'm looking for the square root of this, so 2 of the same number, or the square root of anything. So I know that 16 is a square root. So I'm going to take that 16 and the 3 and rewrite it here. So 16 I know, or 48 is like saying 16 times 3. N cubed I could say is like n squared times n. And then I'm going to just work this out now. Square root of 16 is 4. Okay, square root of n squared is n. And then the 3 and the n, we can't do anything, so we're going to bring that down. We have 4 times n is 4n, all over, or times the square root of 3n. And that's it. Okay? This one is worth 1 point. We should pause the video here so that students could grade this. Everyone's grading this. It's either right or wrong today. Tomorrow I will look for partial credit, but that's basically what we're looking at. Okay? Next, number 8. Same idea. It's getting a little bit harder now. Okay, so we have 5 times the cube root of 24r to the 6th. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find 3 of the same number that multiplies to be 24. So it's a little bit harder. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3 times 8. I know that 8 is a perfect cube, right? Because it's like 2 times 2 times 2. So I want to rewrite this now. So, and then r to the 6th I can write as r cubed times r cubed. So watch this. This is what I would do. We got 5 times the cube root of 8, right, times 3, we have that in there. And then r to the 6th is like saying r to the 3rd times r to the 3rd, right? Because if I add these together, if I add these two exponents together, I get r to the 6th, right? So I'm going to rewrite this as, now simplifying, the cube root of 8 is going to be 2, so I'm going to put that there times 2. And then the cube root of r cubed is going to be r, and the cube root of this other r cubed is going to be r. So bring the rest of the problem down. We can't do anything with this 3. There is no r cube root of 3, and it's by itself. So now I can multiply it out. 5 times 2 times r is going to be 10r squared times the cube root of 3. And that's it. That's your answer. Students should pause here, giving them 1 point. I want you to know that tomorrow I will give partial credit, so I'm glad students are, I did notice that students are showing all the work, so if there are ever issues, then I could give you partial credit if, let's say, you make a mistake. So anyways, pause the video here, students, please, and correct this problem. Alright, moving on. Number 9. This one was in your work the other day. So n to the 6th to the 1/2. When you have a power raised by a power, you just multiply. What's 6 times 1/2? 6 halves. Or you could just say n to the 3rd. That's it. Give them 1 point here. Everyone should pause the video. Give them 1 point here. Okay, last one. So we got 64b to the 6th, and this is to the 7/6 power. Sorry, I'm going to rewrite this here so you can see it. 7/6 power. I'm going to make this a little better on the test. Sorry about that. It looks so ugly, but I'll fix it. Okay, 64b to the 6th, all to the 7/6 power. So the first thing I want to do is I want to rewrite this. Okay. So I'm going to say this is like saying 64b to the 6th, and I'm going to break down the 7/6 right here. Instead of 7/6, I'm going to say this is to the 1/6. Okay, right? And then I'm going to multiply all of that times 7, because I know that when I multiply these powers, I still get this. Okay? So you're breaking things down. Okay? And since this is all to the 1/6 power, I'm really asking myself, what is the 6th root of this value, right? So I'm asking myself, what times itself, 6 times will be equal to 64b to the 6th. Okay? So I know we could have just skipped from here to here, but I want you to see this, the reasoning on why we have this. Okay? So anyways, think about that. So anyways, we're asking ourselves, what times itself 6 times is equal to 64, right? What times itself, everyone? 2. That's right, 2. Yep. And what times itself 6 times is b to the 6th? That's right. Yes, that's correct. B, right? So we have b to the 7th power, or 2b to the 7th power, and then I want to distribute this 2 to the 7th, so 2 to the 7th is going to be, 128. We're just multiplying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? And then we got b to the 7th is there. So that's your final problem today. So that's your final answer, 128b to the 7th. Students should pause the work here. Let's do and write this down, okay? So, just a final note, the total possible points on this, please tally up the total they got at the top of the first page. So if they got like 12 out of 13, please put 12 out of 13. Also, we're not done yet. Please put CB next to that and then your name. So, if it was me, I'd put Mr. Rink, right? But you would put your first and last name there, okay? And that's it. All right, so you're tallying up the total they got wrong. You should ask the teacher also if you have any questions. And that's it. We got a test coming up tomorrow. So use this video to review tonight. You should use it. I'm going to take it down in a couple days here because I don't want anyone cheating. So, okay? And that's it. All right. Good luck. Bye.